In this topic about the spiralians, we will be discussing about the class Gastropoda of the mollusks. The Gastropoda, the gastro, the belly or the stomach, and poda means the feet. So the belly-footed mollusks, the organisms which have their belly along with their foot. So what comes in your mind? Is it the snail or the slug or any other organism which is moving over one feet, and that feet is its belly as well? So these are those animals. These animals are the example are having the snails and the slugs. These are the most varied and abundant of the molluskan classes today, the snails and the slugs. And they form both with and without the calcareous shell, right? For example, the slug, a lot of slugs do not have any shell. So the gastropods were evolving throughout the entire Phanerozoic, and they evolved the swimming strategies, right? So what were the swimming strategies? The creeping and the floating, and the trophic styles as well. So in the trophic styles, they had different feeding habit as well. For example, the razing, predatory, and the parasitic. So raising it when they are, taking out something by rasping their tongue on there. Predatory when they are sort of attacking other organism and having the predatory behavior. They have their own prey. And the parasitic where they have the host and the parasitic relationship, and they are taking their food from by parasitizing the other animals. So there is one particular feature of these mollusks, that is the torsion. What does the torsion mean? The torsion is when mantle cavity containing the gills and anus, excretory and reproductive opening comes to lie over the head, right? So in the previous organism, that is where it was. But in these organisms, the head is down, and above the head, all of these organs are coming above the head. And that's why it's called torsion. Torsion is when you bend something in an unnatural way. So it makes a U-shaped structure in which all the coelom is coming over the head. So it is seen to be disadvantaged as it results into the loss of one of the gills. So here you can see a diagram of the gastropod morphology, and it has the annotated reconstruction of a living gastropod. So you can see the shell. The shell is having the coily appearance. And then there is inside the shell, if you come from the left to the right, there is a mantle flap. Mantle flap is the organ which is, secreting more and more shell. And as the organism is becoming older, the shell is becoming enlarged, and the number of coils are increasing as well. There is penis, which is a reproductive organ, and then there is the mantle flap doing the same thing that I have already told. Inhalant siphon, which is, taking in the material from here, and the siphonal canal. And then there is head. Head is containing eyes, and then there are the tentacle proboscis, the mouth, operculum, and the opercular lobe, the area which is beneath the operculum, and then the foot, which is used for the locomotion. So this is sort of an overview of the gastropod morphology, and it is the annotated reconstruction of a living gastropod. So how did the gastropods evolve? There is no general agreement among the scientists about that how did this evolution took place. So it was derived, there is some views, or it is thought that it was derived from the monoplacophoran type ancestor by torsion and development of exogastric condition. So torsion, we have discussed that it did some torsion from the monoplacophorans, and it evolved into having the exogastric condition. And what is that? In that, the shell is coiled away from the head. If you remember the diagram that we have seen in the previous slide, the head is here, and the coiling is taking place away from the head. So that is the exogastric condition. And an origin from among coiled forms such as Pelagiella may link to the monoplacophoran grade through the Tommotian Aldanella to the gastropod. So these are the different organisms or the fossils that we have found, and these are sort of relating what we have discussed, that the monoplacophorans are the ancestors of these mollusks. So the most Paleozoic gastropods were herbivores or the detritus feeders, and after that they had various form of evolution and adaptation or the living strategies. There is a classic study of the late tertiary snails from the Lake Turkana, Kenya, by the Williamson in 1981, and it has punctuated changes in 14 separate lineages. So it's sort of the fossil record is very, very composed, and in that we can see that how different snails evolved in 14 different lineages. And what is the what makes this study the classic study? Because it shows some punctuated changes, and it has a support for the theory of evolution by the punctuated equilibrium that we have discussed in the earlier lectures.